welcome to Newsblitz. I'm Grace Ike. Before we continue, remember the coronavirus is a deadly disease. Wash your hands regularly with soap for at least 20 seconds under running water, or you can use a hand sanitizer. Now, do not forget to wear your face masks when outside and maintain physical distancing. President Muhammadu Buhari on Thursday called for global collaboration against common challenges such as terrorism, corruption, poverty, and climate change, among others. The president made this note in a statement by his special advisor on media and publicity, Femi Adesina. He spoke while receiving letters of credence from Someone Voice at the presidential villa, Abuja. The president told the envoys that the novel coronavirus pandemic remains humanity's greatest threat, as it does not only affect public health, but also has a devastating effect on people's economy and livelihood. President Buhari assured them that Nigeria has a good bilateral relations with each other, with their countries, and there was need to enhance the cordial relationship for the joint benefit of her citizens. Meanwhile, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says Nigeria's low rating on the Transparency International Corruption Perception Index is due to the certain gaps in the provision and analysis of data between the country and the Anti-Corruption Agency. While briefing at the State House in Abuja, the minister stated that the government looked into the ratings and made certain discoveries that show why the low rating has continued. Mohammed added that the government found it strange that the country's rating has remained the same for a period of 10 years. He, however, noted that the authorities are taking remedial measures so they can get the data in respect of those sectors. And now, procurement contracts lie at the heart of government's yearly expenditure. Procurement experts say billions of naira are lost every year due to faulty procurement processes and corruption. But a new report has been published which aims to aid the Bureau of Public Procurement and other stakeholders to improve transparency and mitigate corruption in the nation's contracting process. Correspondent Margaret Obakompad, this report.
The high rate of corruption in Nigeria's public procurement sector has affected the lives of millions of Nigerians. Nigeria has lost billions of naira over the years due to lack of transparency and flagrant abuse of procedures for the award of public contracts. This provides the backdrop for the establishment of the Nigerian Open Contracting Portal Ranking Report. It seeks to improve the country's open contracting commitment.
You will agree with me that the current status for the country in terms of how Nigeria ranks in the International Corruption Perception Index is not very helpful to the country. We believe very strongly that if these MDAs are able to increase the level of compliance with using Nokopo platform, it will really help again put the country in a better position to address the issue of corruption in the procurement sector.
The conviction here is that corruption has cost and is still costing Nigeria dearly. Benson Upa believes that banditry, kidnapping and other threats to the nation's security can be traced to it.
There is a nexus between corruption and insecurity. So once we are able to tame or at least minimize corruption, there will be enough to go around.
Real change can only begin when ministries, departments and agencies comply with the public procurement laws.
We are hoping that following this report, we'll have more MDAs recognizing the need to provide their procurement information on the Nokopo portal and also comply with the various procurement policies that encourage transparency, accountability and good governance within our MDAs.
Corruption in the procurement sector has risen over the years, but perhaps the narrative can be changed when government allows professionals to take over the procurement process in ministries, departments and agencies.
In the meantime, the Federal Executive Council at its meeting on Wednesday approved 6 contracts in the Federal Capital Territory worth 82.63 billion naira. Most approvals were reviews of initial contract due to changes in scope of work or project cost. The approvals coincided with the Cabinet's endorsement of the disbursement of fertilizer to some states under the Emergency Agricultural Intervention Program. State House correspondent Kenda Modu has this report.
4 approvals for revision of project sums are to cost 74.41 billion naira.
Please, I want you to understand these are not all new contracts. In fact, the only new contract which I can remember, I think, is the Federal Secretariat, which is being rehabilitated. So this, not all of them are new contracts.
Project sums being reviewed are for stages 1 and 2 of the Outer Southern Expressway and the Inner Southern Expressway from the Southern Parkway. Also being reviewed is the consultancy contract for the Independence and Constitution Avenues in the Central District of Abuja. 2 projects are new contracts: the total overhaul of a 1,500 kV generator for the Abuja Environmental Protection Board at a total cost of 110.15 million naira, and the rehabilitation of Phase 1 of the Federal Secretariat at the cost of 8.11 billion naira.
Which involves electromechanical systems, water systems, as well as other general rehabilitation. This is a secretariat that was commissioned in 1993, quite a long time ago. So we are doing massive rehabilitation of that.
The Cabinet also approved the contract for the production and delivery of 1 million sterilized meters grips embossed for 3 meters test stations in Lagos, Port Harcourt and Kaduna for the sum of 155.22 million naira. The Council has also agreed to buy 4 power transformers for the Transmission Company of Nigeria.
These transformers are needed to replace the transformer that has been in system for the past 35 years. In order to improve quality of power supply to the national grid.
Meanwhile, the Council of Ministers agreed to procure fertilizers for states affected by conflict, insurgency, and the 2018 floods. The procurement under the Emergency Agricultural Intervention Fund is worth 922.8 million naira, reporting the State House. Kehinde Amodu, Silverbird, News 24.
And now we'll move to the National Assembly. The House of Representatives on Thursday declared open a one-day public hearing on a bill to repeal and reenact the Police Service Commission bill, as well as a bill to establish the National Institute of Police Studies. The Speaker said Nigerians deserve a police force they can trust to deliver on its assigned duties. Representative Yusuf Gagdi from Plateau State, who sponsored the bill, said the bills were meant to arrest the anomalies in the PSC. He said the bill would address the issue of gender disparity on the appointment of the Inspector General of Police, arguing that the NPF, which is the Nigeria Police Force, would be ultimate beneficiary of the bill. He cleared the air on the issue of tenure for the Inspector General of Police, which stipulates 4 years.
What was the wisdom in the National Assembly appointing or giving 4 years to tenure to the Inspector General of Police? Police is the only lead security agency in the country. Military are in maintenance of internal security because of the aggregate nature of the insecurity in Nigeria. Therefore, we need the military that are supposed to stay in their barrack to come and assist in the maintenance of internal security. But in the wisdom of the National Assembly, police being the internal security, coupled up with the fact that we need police reform. We said from 1999 till date, we have about 11 to 12 Inspector General of Police. In the last 20 years, some serve for 7 months, some 1 year. How can you reform the institution when you allow the person to superintend over that institution to serve for only 7 months? Another person will come, the initiative of the new person that served 1 year or 7 months will be thrown away. He will start his own police reform differently. And that is why the Nigerian people through the National Assembly said no. Irrespective of sentiment, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion, let us allocate a tenure of office to the Inspector General of Police so that he will have the time to initiate reform to some level. That even if he have a successor after the 4 years, the reform will stand the test of time. It will go a long way in addressing those disparity by creating job opportunity to the people of this, to the youth of this country, so that the issue of 10,000 recruitment annually will continue by either this administration or previous administration. Aside of ensuring the safety and security of the Nigerian citizen, the amendment to the Police Service Commission bill will equally create job opportunity to Nigerian people.
The Police Service Commission. Now, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal has called for the amendment of the Nigerian Constitution to create clearly defined rules for traditional rulers in the country, especially on community policing and security. Tambuwal made the call while inaugurating Delta State Traditional Rulers Council Secretariat in Asaba. He said in view of the role traditional rulers play in the administration of communities, it becomes expedient that a constitutional amendment is made to create a rule for them. The governor stated that a Northern Governors Forum had already resolved to push for the amendment of the Constitution in that regard and urged their southern counterpart to support the move. Despite heightened agitations by secessions group in recent weeks, the Southern Senators Forum has maintained that it stands for a united Nigeria. The Deputy President of the Senate, Ovi Omar Gege, stated this after rising from an urgent meeting by the Forum. The chairman of the Southern Senators Forum is Ekiti Central Senator Opeyemi Babidele, who is taking over from Hope Uzodinma.
We are united behind the leadership of the Ninth Senate, headed by Dr. Ahmed Lawan. It was a leadership we put in place. We put it in place then, we supported it then, we're supporting it now, and we'll continue to support the leadership. In addition to that, we are all resolved that notwithstanding the challenges facing this country, we're all resolved that we support a united Nigeria.
We also look forward to working to further strengthen the leadership of the Senate itself, while also providing a voice, for our people that we are here to represent, and also doing all we can to ensure that the unity of Nigeria that we are all looking to strengthen, that we're able to also use the platform, for that purpose.
Now, talking education, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund has warned that poor service delivery by tertiary institutions could jeopardize the mandate of the agency to achieve results. Executive Secretary of the fund, Professor Suleiman Bagoro, made this known in Abuja at a workshop organized by the fund for nodal officers and directors of quality assurance of the beneficiary institutions. Professor Bogoro noted that the workshop, being the first of its kind, was organized by the fund to engender synergy between the agency and its beneficiary institutions. He urged the 226 public tertiary institutions benefiting from trust fund, a TED fund intervention to inculcate efficient service delivery into the operations.
We expect quality feedback from the beneficiary institutions. We also expect that they will be honest in giving this feedback. They would put on the table, there will be engagement between them, the service recipients, and the service providers. We expect effective partnership thereafter.
In our monitoring system, there are steps we have designed that flag issues, and then we immediately attack them on institution per institution basis, because there is no way all institutions can have the same.
The Chief Medical Director of the University of Abuja Teaching Hospital, Professor Bisala Ekele, is calling on civil society organizations and philanthropists to support the federal government financially in fighting COVID-19. He made the call while speaking to journalists at an event marking 1 year since the hospital began managing the COVID-19 pandemic at the hospital in the FCT. Correspondent Aisha Olaoye completes this report.
This is the University Abuja Teaching Hospital. A year has now passed since it began treating patients infected with the deadly coronavirus. This event is not a celebration but a sober reminder of those who have been lost to the virus. This last 1 year has been rough, tough, but successful. These men and women may have lost patients to the virus, but they are thankful for those who they saved.
For a whole year, you just imagine people waking up as early as 5 o'clock, coming in to prepare the disinfectant, and that's awesome. And when we are inside, for instance, we are inside the heat of the game, each member actually watch out for each other.
These doctors and nurses are the real heroes of Nigeria's response to the coronavirus. But in a rather curious but sad twist, they have been at the receiving end of stigmatization from within and outside the hospital walls. These people have put their lives on the line for the rest of us. They say they do not deserve this.
You know, this was it was a novel disease. We didn't really know how it was going to be, and then we just volunteered. People were dying in Europe, people were dying in the US, and we said, no, we are going to be part of this team. Time you have 40 patients on admission, and you are doing ward rounds on 40 patients, most of them on oxygen. I mean, there was a time it was really just too much. People were breaking down.
The virus did not just take an emotional or psychological toll, it has also strained the resources of the hospital, prompting the chief medical director to call on civil society organizations to support them financially.
We shouldn't leave everything for government. There are other non-governmental organizations and charity organizations and foundations that can leverage on the goodwill that health workers have gotten by managing COVID-19 to support governments.
The federal government has been inconsistent with the payment of COVID-19 hazard allowances to these frontline workers, but they have worked admirably to ensure the nation overcomes the pandemic. It is now up to government to show its gratitude by fulfilling its own part of the bargain.
Newsblitz is reaching you live from the nation's capital. We'll be back with more report after this break. Just stay with us. Welcome back. Now, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, says the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, will focus on consolidating the economic recovery process by taking actions that would continue to stimulate output growth and create employment opportunities, one of which is to boost the agricultural value chain through the bank's various interventions. Mr. Emefiele made this known at the second MPC meeting for 2021 monetary policy rate, and all other parameters were retained. Correspondent Favor Basioto compiled this report.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria is meeting for the second time this year amidst dampened inflationary pressure. The February figures released by the National Bureau of Statistics was seen at 17.33%, a 0.86% higher than the corresponding rate in January. This is the popular Wuse market right at the heart of the Federal Capital Territory. Traders here have looked on helplessly as food prices inch higher and higher.
By now, beans supposed to be cheaper now, at least 400. But now we are buying beans at the rate of 800, 850. For that small mudu we are using to sell.
Everything is increasing. Gari, a mudu of gari is 500. From 300 to 350, from 350 to 4, now it's 500. According to the farmers, some say they can't go to farm again. They are killing them in the farm.
These security challenges faced by farmers in core food-producing states have affected food supply. The MPC is calling for collaborative efforts by all stakeholders and the government agencies to address the insecurity issues.
The MPC reiterated its concerns on the activities of persons and groups causing security challenges in the food-producing areas of the country, as this has contributed to the major uptick in food prices across the land. Committee thus called for a collaborative and coordinated effort by all the relevant agencies and stakeholders towards addressing the prevailing insecurity issues and social challenges.
Conscious of the persisting inflationary pressure, the Monetary Policy Committee will continue to support the entire agricultural value chain through its interventions. The bank has so far disbursed a total of 1.487 trillion naira as at the end of February 2021 under the various agricultural programs and is taking other complementary measures.
Looking at supporting interventions, particularly in the agricultural sector, in the manufacturing sector, we should look at possibility of even doing more creating more loans through our targeted credit facilities for our households and small businesses particularly that were adversely impacted by COVID.
The rising insecurity in the country will only limit the expected outcomes in terms of supply to the market, despite all the significant interventions by the Apex Bank. This will inevitably lead to a continuous hike in food prices.
Star Times on Thursday rewarded 5 loyal customers with Easter hampers. The zonal marketing manager of the company, Stephanie Aka, says this move is to thank them for keeping faith with the company. Shegun Ojumo has this report.
Easter is less than 2 weeks away, and already pay TV company Star Times is out again, rewarding some of its loyal customers. In Abuja, 5 winners have been randomly selected after participating in the Easter upgrade promo. Here, Stephanie Aka, Star Times Zonal Marketing Manager, is leading this team to the Kubwa home of one of his winners, Suleiman Olayinka. Mr. Olayinka says he was shocked when he got the call he had won. He speaks of his Star Times experience.
It's a channel, it's a cable TV that gives a lot of programs for homes. Parents can actually close their eyes while kids are changing the channel.
Like Mr. Olayinka, Stephen Douglas tells us he has been a Star Times customer since 2012. He's just as excited about winning.
I'm very excited that I want something from Star Times. I'm not even expecting that I will get a gift among the people that are winning the promo.
Douglas's emotions are mirrored by that of the third winner.
I was surprised when they said I've won the hamper for the Easter promo exercise. I'm very happy at least that Star Time has remembered me as a customer.
The zonal marketing manager says this is all part of Star Time's policy of rewarding loyalty. But the good news doesn't end there. There's more to come.
For our sport lovers, we have decided that we will take back the ST World Football Channel, which is our football channel, our premium football channel, to a lower bouquet. We moved it from the super bouquet, which is 4,200, to the 2,200 bouquet.
Back to the winners, and all they have in their hearts is gratitude.
I'm very appreciative. Thank you. Thank you so much. I didn't expect it.
Thank you for the number.
Thank you for remembering me.
The Star Times Easter upgrade promo, which began on March the 1st, ends on April the 30th. Shegun Ojumo, Silverbird News 24.
We'll bring you stories from the foreign scene and sport after this break. Do stay with us.